All right, good afternoon. Getting on the practice field here in the next few minutes, beginning our on-field prep for going to be a challenge. Pittsburgh Steelers. You see the identity of their team all over the tape, and going to be a heck of a challenge. Like I said, nobody I respect more than Mike Tomlin and what he's been able to build there, and the toughness and the way that team plays 60 minutes every single week. We got to be ready to go. So looking forward to getting on the grass with our guys. Let's see. I want to congratulate Isaiah on not only the NFC Defensive Player of the Week, but the Nickelodeon Player of the Week as well. So for some of you guys who have been here before, you know that means there should be some slime out on the practice field today. We'll see if I can avoid it. But yeah, so that's where we're at. Just giving you guys an update. Ryan Kelly and Justin School will be full participants today. Jonathan Allen will get a veteran rest day, and then Javon Hargrave and Andrew Van Ginkel will hold out today, and hoping to work them back in as the week goes on, and away we go.
Is Andrew Van Ginkel still related to his concussion or the injury he had in training camp?
Yeah, it's probably, he came out of the game feeling pretty good, and then just has had kind of some residual issues, more tied to probably the neck, I would say. He's out of the protocol and cleared that through the medical process last week, and now we're just, working through what his week's going to look like leading into Sunday.
How excited are you to get Jordan Addison back, and what is the realistic expectation for his workload here?
Yeah, I think Jordan's in shape. He's been working his tail off to make sure he's ready to go. It'll be a big week of practice for him. I'm expecting him to have fresh legs, and when Jordan Addison has fresh legs, that's normally a really good thing. So just can't wait to get him back. The guys are so excited to have him back full time for real. It has helped to have him back in the building the past couple weeks, but now it feels much more real.
How much does having him back add pages to the playbook possibly, or does it just unlock things for other guys that everybody bumps up?
Yeah, I think it's probably more so the latter. Just from a standpoint of his role, clearly, is a role that he's kind of really made for himself over his time here. Knowing how versatile and all the things we do with Justin, Jordan's kind of the same way. He can be at any position in our formation. And then that's where I'm really excited about having both Jalen and Adam, to really kind of fuel having, the best group we can have fresh. We can keep the group fresh, specifically with Jordan working his way back in. And that should bode really well for, being able to hopefully play our most consistent game yet.
Is there something about his skill set that's enabled him to be productive regardless of who's been the quarterback, even in college here?
Yeah, I think, he's very, very unique from a standpoint of his route running. His ability to use the tools of our offense, albeit motion, alignment, and stacks and bunches and different variations of how we play to be able to get on edges. And then he's got such unique separation ability throughout the different levels of routes. He can win early, he can win late, and then he's proven time and time again just how elite catcher of the football he is. So I think that's Jordan. The training camp he had, if you ask me to, figure out the podium of first, second, and third place of the best training camps we had, he would for sure be on the podium. I don't know exactly where he would be. We had some guys that had great camps. But he was as good as he's ever been for us throughout, and hoping he can pick up right where he left off.
We'll ask him about this too, but what do you think being in the building and not having to serve the final 2 weeks just home away from his teammates did for him?
Yeah, it's just like the way we build things around here. These guys, they want to be here. They want to be around their teammates. It becomes a way of life for them. So when that gets taken away, it's going to be impactful. So I'm very, it ends up, they call it 3 weeks, but with how it, really breaks down with the roster, the final roster is a Tuesday, and he's got to be, if you're going to use that spot, he's got to be, it really starts then. So it's really closer to 2 weeks of being out and then 2 weeks of being back, a little closer to 4 weeks. I know there's only 3 games in there, but it's a significant amount of time. And I think Jordan was really excited to get back around the guys. I know I was really excited to have him back.
Kevin, do you anticipate JJ practicing at all this week? McCarthy.
I don't have an answer for that right now. I just know that he's continuing to progress along, and is into a kind of a different phase of that rehab from the initial kind of just the reactionary kind of early treatment to that injury and swelling, and kind of getting some of the healing started, and then now it becomes the strengthening, the mobility, and kind of building himself back.
When you talked about Brian Flores and his ability to identify someone like Isaiah Rodgers, I guess how valuable is that for coaches to be able to have that player evaluation skill?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's critical, because when you're trying to, in many ways, with working with personnel and how you're trying to build the roster, in many ways you're trying to thread a needle a little bit, and if you're gonna identify a player that you feel like is gonna, especially in the free agency process, where how are you acquiring that player? How does it affect comp picks? All those things. You better feel really strongly about the vision and the role for the player, and that's where Flo's been phenomenal from a standpoint of the additions we've made via the free agency process, and how those guys have fit, immediately into the role and then started thriving. I mean, I think it's been the same on the offensive side when you look at a guy like Jordan Mason and how we were able to maybe uniquely acquire him while kind of keeping the comp pick formula intact and all those things. So a lot goes into it, but it definitely helps when we clearly identify and work through it with the personnel group as far as the vision and what we see hopefully being a positive outcome for the player, most importantly.
Not to say that you didn't have confidence in Jordan Mason, but what does that kind of game do for you as a play caller when you're dialing up runs in the future?
Yeah, even in game. I mean, you can feel it, and I'm sure you guys felt a chill beneath your feet when I think at one point I called 3 or 4 runs in a row. But I even the guy, like, I listen, have really enjoyed how we've attacked people over the years here, and tried to make the best parts of our offense and the best way to attack people based upon our skill sets. I've enjoyed that side of it, and I'm absolutely loving the idea of forming the identity that best fits this team, and that's my job. It starts with that, of making sure we're doing the things that we need to do for these guys to have success, and to try to make the best situation we possibly can for our players, and play calls have a ton to do with that.
Kevin, did you guys have did the teams have any input or say on the playing surface? Or is that just an NFL thing and you show up and you see the field for the first time?
Well, we'll get to see it on Saturday. We'll go over there for our walkthrough on Saturday. But yeah, I think with the experience the league has now at so many different venues, we've been to Tottenham twice for next week, so we know exactly, kind of what that. And it's been a new surface both times, I believe, that we've played on there. As far as this weekend, I know, grass field, that's always a great starting point, and then I'm sure the league's done their due diligence from a standpoint of making it the best surface that they can make it. So that's, we'll prepare accordingly, make sure we've got all the right equipment and cleats and the different variations to handle whatever the surface is like on Sunday.
Have they gotten better at London over the years? Because it seems like, there was a time where it was just kind of horrible over there.
I know they replaced it. I don't know exactly when. I know they replaced it, I think, going into our game or going into the sequence of games last year, because remember, that's a artificial synthetic turf that's underneath the really nice putting green level field that normally is over the top of that. So I know our players felt like they could feel the difference between 2022 and last year.
Just all the planning that goes into this trip from within the building, just how much does that make your job easier and the players' job easier? I mean,
if this was, make sure I'm, booking travel and bringing the orange slices after the game, if it was all those things, I would not be this confident in our ability to go handle these trips. But we've got unbelievable people at every layer of that go into the planning, the execution of said plan. And then I think the best thing that we have here is a bunch of folks that, regardless of what the plans might have been, we're going to figure it out. There's going to be some adversity totally outside of our control somewhere. That's kind of the unique parts of these trips that you learn having done this now. This will be our third time and our first time doing it the way we'll do it back to back. We plan, we think about things as from always the player's perspective first and what will help them feel their best mentally, physically, and then how do we make sure we do the things football-wise to pair with that so that by the time we get to either one of these games, they feel like they could be at their best.
That's true.
Kevin, sorry, go ahead. Oh, thank you. What do you think another game for Carson can do just for your offense, the familiarity, just the groove that he can get into?
Yeah, I think it's just, it's another example of, I'm looking for our group offensively to stack as many plays as we can together with all 11 guys doing their job. And Carson, obviously, playing quarterback is a big-time part of that, and the details of him doing his job and how that can impact others and how we saw some real positivity from just simply executing the baseline level of what we need from each position, including the quarterback. We saw some benefits of that. I definitely want to see our pre-snap penalties go down. I think, there was countless times the other day where even though we were playing well, we self-inflicted some things to longer down and distances, longer third downs because of some things happening either pre-snap that can't happen or even post-snap at times, maybe tied to fundamentals and technique and all that. So we're looking for all of it. We're looking to just constantly chase improvement with all of it.
And what has
You've seen
Jalen
from-
Ramsey added to Pittsburgh's defense?
Say that again?
What has Jalen Ramsey added to Pittsburgh's defense?
Oh, I know Jalen very well. I've been a part of teams with him before, coaching in LA. He's just so impactful. He's got the versatility to do so many jobs within a defense. He's always around the football. And when he is around the football, he's got pretty elite athleticism, ball skills, and football intelligence to just consistently be a problem. He's a guy, we got to know where he is. He plays different roles within their defense depending on what type of personnel that they're playing on that snap. So we've got to know. They've got a few of those guys, whether it's on their front with TJ and the rest of the group that they have that are all impactful, Hayward and Herbig, and then I think they've got really good linebackers, and it seems to be they're getting healthy as well in the secondary. So it's going to be a challenge for sure.
Matt, last one.
Just want to ask about Ty Felton and
Yeah.
how he's embraced the role that you've seen on special teams and just how that can help him develop here going forward.
Yeah, first and foremost, I loved how he's attacked it. He's truly been one of the more dynamic players, specifically at that gunner position in football, I think. And that comes down to what is that rep in a lot of ways. I've tried to get him to look at it as he's a receiver beating press coverage. So every time he takes that rep, hopefully it's having a down-the-line impact on him playing wide receiver as well. And we've kind of already seen that show up, whether it's on the practice field or in his one catch that did not get the first down last week, even though he signaled first down. It was a good learning moment for him. Always see the sticks, but no, I couldn't be more happy with where he's at. And we just happen to have, at this point, 4 guys we consider starters in the room, and then him and Miles are really serving huge roles, but not directly related to offensive football now. But their time is certainly coming, and they just got to keep working behind the scenes to be ready to go.